Christianity may have been born in the Middle East, but Arab Christians have never had it easy there, especially not today. But Palestinian Christians have been leaving in large numbers for years. So many, the Christian population there is down to less than 2%, and the prospect of holy sites, like Jerusalem and Bethlehem, without local Christians is looming as a real possibility. This is what the Holy Land looks like today. Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, Nazareth, where he grew up, Jerusalem, where he died and where Christians believe he was resurrected. Nazareth is inside the state of Israel. Bethlehem is on the Israeli-occupied West Bank. The Christian section of Jerusalem is also under Israeli control. We know the area well, know that it is arguably the most fought-over piece of real estate in the world, sacred to half of humanity. Still, when we decided to do the story last year, we did not realize it would become so controversial. Our story begins in Bethlehem, where it all began. We went to St. Catherine's in the Church of the Nativity. The church was so crowded, it was difficult to believe that Christians now make up only 18% of what was for centuries an overwhelmingly Christian town.
We are the living stones of the Holy Land. From here it all started, and it had to continue. It's a must. It must continue. If there is no people, no Christians here, it will never continue.
Here in Jerusalem, the numbers are even bleaker than in Bethlehem.
Inside here, famous church.
Theophilus III, the patriarch of the Greek Orthodox, has lived through the decline. His church, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, is the most sacred site in Christendom. He took us up to the roof.
Come in. So you are in the Holy Sepulchre, inside the Holy Sepulchre. Just inside here is the tomb.
That is, the tomb which covers the site of the resurrection. When you first came here in 1964, what was the percentage of Christians in the old city?
There were around 30,000 of Christians living in the old city.
And now how many are there?
Very few.
So few, some 11,000 Christians out of a population of almost 800,000, just 1.5%. Religious leaders are afraid Jerusalem could become a museum, a spiritual theme park, a great place for tourists and pilgrims, but not for the Arab Christians whose roots date back to the church's very beginnings.
Christianity started here. The only thing that Palestine was able to export so successfully was Christianity.
Mitri Raheb is a Palestinian, a Christian, and a Lutheran minister from Bethlehem. He runs schools, cultural centers, and health clinics.
Christianity has actually on the back a stamp saying, "Made in Palestine."
Palestinian Christians, once a powerful minority, are becoming the invisible people, squeezed between a growing Muslim majority and burgeoning Israeli settlements. Israel has occupied the West Bank for 45 years.
Well, you'll never hear anyone in the mainstream media say this. This is actually one of the most important things you need to understand if you want to know what's happening right now. Every day you can find videos coming out of Israel showing Israelis calling for all Arabs to die. Spitting on Christians, mocking...
Ultra-Orthodox Jews spit toward Christians carrying a cross in occupied East Jerusalem this week, an act of religious hatred, igniting a scandal in Israel and beyond. Other videos, also widely seen on social media, show Jews spitting toward nuns outside a church. And yet another where Jews spit at a church doorway. Cardinal in Jerusalem say they're concerned over a rising number of anti-Christian acts in Israel. Some ultranationalist and settler leaders say spitting at or near Christians and churches is a legitimate Jewish tradition with a long history.
mocking and celebrating the murder of Palestinians, committing violent hate crimes against Palestinians, watching Gaza get carpet bombed from a cliffside for entertainment. Another poll found that half of Israeli Jews agree with the statement, most Jews are better than most non-Jews because they were born Jews. For example, Israel has a law that says if an Israeli marries a Palestinian, or someone from several other regional Arab states, that person isn't allowed to move in with said Israeli. This law was passed in 2003, but it's been renewed every single year since. Israel also doesn't allow interreligious marriage to be performed in the country, which is meant to deter Jews from marrying non-Jews. In 2014, Israeli lawmaker Ayelet Shaked wrote an unhinged rant on Facebook, calling all Palestinians enemy combatants and saying their mothers should be killed for giving birth to, quote, little snakes. The next year, she was appointed Minister of Justice by Benjamin Netanyahu. Itamar Ben-Gvir, a lifelong admirer of Meir Kahane, an Arab exterminationist, a man who praised a Jewish settler who killed a Palestinian for throwing a rock at him, a man who was famously acquitted after being criminally charged for chanting death to Arabs, is Israel's current Minister of National Security. He's not some fringe figure either. He's one of the most popular politicians in Israel right now.
Two ultra-Orthodox members of Prime Minister Netanyahu's coalition have introduced a bill that would punish believers for sharing the gospel of Jesus with prison time. United Torah Judaism Knesset members Moshe Gafni and Yaakov Asher introduced legislation last week making it illegal to share in conversation or produce content online, in print, or by mail. Their explanation of the bill emphasizes a warning to stop Christians in particular.
This was a sanctuary for hundreds of Palestinian Christians and Muslims. But for many, it became a tomb. The historic Greek Orthodox Church of St. Porphyrius in Gaza was hit by Israeli airstrikes overnight. The Israel Defense Forces said the target was a nearby Hamas command center. But more than a dozen people who were taking shelter in the church compound were also killed, including the youngest.
This church is almost 1,700 years old and is one of the oldest churches in the world. We've witnessed more than 4 wars, and this is different. It's a total genocide.
Shalom, my friend. We bless you.
You're my country.
You come to the United States, you can say whatever you want to say. That is a free world, yes?
You're not in the United States. You're in Israel.
I understand.
You cannot say whatever you want to say here.
Yes, you can. It's legal. It is legal to preach about Yeshua. We preach at Damascus Gate, the police said it's okay. We preach at Jaffa Gate, the police say it's okay. Please stop. I respect you, respect me.
He doesn't have to respect you.
Huh?
Doesn't have to respect you.
That is the right thing. Are you Jewish? Do you want to honor God? That is the godly thing to do. We respect one another.
The godly thing to do is to kill you.
The godly thing is to kill me.
That's right.
Yes?
That's what the Torah says.
The Torah says to kill us.
The Torah says that people who worship idols such as yourself, when there is a Sanhedrin,
to kill us.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the Torah says.
So we know how the Jewish people feel about Christians, yes? That you discriminate against Christians.
Christians are idol worshippers.
You discriminate against Christians.
The Torah says that.
I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn. We're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Obviously referencing the Palestinians, meaning that they're animals, they're not humans. But again, here's a Jewish rabbi telling Christians that they should be worshiping him and all of the other Jews in Israel.
And true conservatives in this country need to wake up and stop supporting these fakes. If you call yourself a Christian, then support people who are Christian. This stuff. But Jesus knew in the last days there's going to be a group of people, imposters, pretending to be Jews. But they're really the synagogue of Satan. American Christians are always supporting the people who persecute Christians. I mean, American Christians support the people who are persecuting the Palestinian church. Look at what the persecution of the Palestinian churches. Who's doing it? Synagogue of Satan.
Yes.
Who supports them? American evangelicals. So what we really can say is the American Evangelical Church is actually more satanic than it is Christian.